Hello, hey guys. So I have with me here Tom Fleming, comic book artist, cover artist, comic book trading card artist. You may have seen his work on heavy metal. You might have seen his work on Marvel and DC Comics. Uh, you might have seen his work on wrestlers such as Razor Ramon. Tom, great to have you here.
Well, thank you. It's great to be here.
So you're gonna be at an event at the end of July, right?
Yep. GalaxyCon Raleigh. It's been my staple show. It's my closest show that I do to where I live in Wilmington, North Carolina, and I look forward to it every year, and they take really good care of us.
Absolutely. What can people look for on that show that you're gonna bring?
So at that show, that's one of my, that's my full setup. I have everything from my framed G clay canvases to prints on photo luster paper, my full line of superhero, Marvel, DC, and fantasy art. So yeah, it's pretty much everything. Every My full line of everything, including some original art. Sometimes I even bring the legendary original art for the '93 Survivor series, the one that we spoke of in the interview with Lex Luger. I still have those paintings, so sometimes I put them on display also.
I love this stuff. I love this stuff. And where can people go again? This is gonna be the Raleigh Comic Con?
Yeah, this is GalaxyCon Raleigh,
Right.
and if they're all over social media. So if you want more information, just go on Facebook or Instagram and stuff, and they do daily posts on all the artists and media guests.
Okay. And if people wanted to follow you and like see your art, where can people do that?
Okay, the TomFlemingArtwork.com is the website. Tom Fleming Art on Facebook, or Tom Fleming, but you would have to send me a friend request. And then on Instagram, it would be Tom Fleming Art on Instagram, and then I have my Etsy and eBay stores with my full line of prints.
Excellent stuff. So that's GalaxyCon in Raleigh. That's where people can find you at the end of July.
Yep, yep.
All right. Thank you so much, Tom.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
私1個1個 1個1個1個1個
Man, I really gotta get like a ding sound when we start this show. I think I'll find that button for that. But ding ding ding. Welcome to Nerd Talking. Welcome to the Talking Comic Shop. Welcome to the show. This is Doctor. This is Doctor Lariat, and of course we're joined by Matt and our comic book guy himself, uh, Jeremy Feinstone. Guys, love that first episode. Apparently, other people did too. So we're back here again, and what's up, guys?
How you doing?
Good.
Yeah.
Very happy to be talking about particularly the boys this time around. I've been hyping that up a little bit on my little circles. So
Yeah, you're wringing your hand. You're ready to break down that last season that we watched. That was
Oh
something.
yes.
That was
Well,
something.
Yeah.
well, I saw a lot of people get all, oh, the last season was it dragged on. It's like yes and no.
Well, okay. I think we exist in a consumption of entertainment where when you invest 7, 8 years on a show like this over 5 seasons, you think that you're going to get some greater, deeper existential meaning out of the show. Like it's going to reveal the secrets of the universe because of what this show's content was. And frankly speaking, this is a Garth Ennis adaptation of one of the most raunchiest, goriest books that I've ever read in my life, and they managed to make it better than what the book was, and at the same time give you a show that, if you've been paying any attention, was about nothing. It was about the existence of, like, everything around us is meant to break us down and destroy us and hurt us. And it's the little things in life that bring us joy, and it's worth fighting for. And that was the message that they had in the show, but everyone's like, oh, Homelander went out like a bitch, and the show had no point. And it's like, I think you missed some things along the way, but let's chat.
Well,
Yeah,
here's the
because
thing, right now,
Matt, what do you got?
If you do,
Okay,
if you do, like, if you look at it, right? If you look at it, so they kept playing the whole thing of when what's the name of the when A Train like told him at the beginning of the season, "You're a bitch. You're nothing. You're pathetic. Without your powers, you'd be nothing." Right? And it built up to this whole thing. And if we read the comic book, it's exactly what happened. Is without his powers, without being a threat to anybody, he just crumbles and becomes this pathetic nothing. And the people who really got mad at it, no shout out to you, Elon, you fucking twerp. But you know, like the Nazis really got butthurt over him getting destroyed because they think that he represents like the best in everybody, but like no. The only reason that Homelander got to do all this shit that people would say is alpha and whatever is because everybody feared that he would kill them, that he had the power to crush anybody, to topple any government, to do all of this. And that's the reason why he had this respect, was the fear around him. And his death, you know, for the 7 years the show was on, I've been waiting to see how he would die. And there is something that's so brutal about a crowbar to the forehead, prying it open and seeing the brains just splatter on that Oval Office desk. It was satisfying to me because, like Jeremy said, this show, there's not really a message in here about, you know, society or anything like that. I mean, there are some messages, but it's like, it's still about superheroes, about good guys and bad guys, and wanting to see the bad guy lose. And the bad guy lost here in the most like violent and and for me, especially the part where we have the Butcher just absolutely destroying and dismembering this cunt. It was great. It was great. I loved it. When he was cowering on his knees saying, "I'll eat shit. I'll suck your dick. I'll suck your dick." And then you see like the people leaving the audience, and even the psychics are just like, "Ugh, I can't believe we followed this guy." And there are messages in there too, especially like me, you know, I read a lot of scripture, and like you always see the charlatans and the televangelist guy that completely sold all of his like morals just to preach on and to make sure that he gets rich off of the Church of Homelander, the Church of America. Seeing all that death, it's satisfying. And it was a whole season of the good guys kept on losing and losing and losing. up until this last episode. And that, I think that was on purpose because they wanted you to feel hopeless. They wanted it to feel hopeless. And that was the thing. It's hopeless until you have hope. And that's the way comic books work. It's not really a deep story, but it's a story. I don't expect it to be like Watchmen. So
No. Okay, so here we go.
I've been waiting for this, Matt. The floor is yours, brother.
Okay, so when I go deep into something like this, I will, and given we were like, okay, gotta do the binge the boys for a bit. So I read all the comic books again for the first time in about, a long time. I also read the newest piece of the boys' lore that came out in 2020, which was basically called Dear Becky, where Huey gets sent Butcher's old diary, and a bunch of stuff ensues there. Set during the time of coronavirus, they actually made it so it was set in 2020 and a bunch of stuff. I'm not going to spoil the twist in that, but it's interesting that they came back to it. But the main focus we're doing here is the TV adaptation and the animated series that they did called Diabolical, and everything else that went with this.
Did you watch the Generation V? Did you watch the Generation V spinoff?
I did, yes.
Okay. Incorporate that into your talking about it too, and whether it's worth watching or not.
Gen V I thought was good. It did make me think of if they had made a Generation X series, as in the Marvel books. That's probably what it would be like in the 2020s anyway.
Sure.
Because it's essentially, bar the twist that they did with Godlokin in this version, in the comic books, Godlokin is basically Garth Ennis' allegory for Charles Xavier.
Okay.
Essentially. But I liked how they did the TV adaptation in the sense of, okay, we know we're not going to be able to do it completely to the adaptation because some of the stuff in the adaptation would never fly, even on Amazon. This teenage kick stuff had to be really toned down, for example, because, oh boy, the switch of the legend to be a movie producer played by Paul Reiser was, I thought, impeccable casting idea. In fact, Jack Quaid does a really good job as Huey in this version. I feel he's one of the best characters. Obviously, Anthony Starr as Homelander is probably one of the best villains I've come across in quite some time as well as a few other members of the Seven. Chase Crawford as the Deep was hilarious, especially during the last two seasons where he's trying so hard to essentially be Homelander's Robin, shall we say?
Mm-hmm.
Not in the same way as the Robin allegory is in this show or in the comic book, but Chase Crawford
that Robin
and the
had to
whole
sit on a
thing with
cake.
Now that was an interesting one because that's what I feel they messed up in both the comic book and the TV was Huey and the assault that happens on him in both versions is played as a really bad joke, and it shouldn't be. And then of course later in the same season, literally a couple of episodes after the Huey assault thing in Tet Knight's cave, you have the whole thing with the shapeshifter, and you're like, hold on. Similar things are happening here, and you're giving off the wrong message in both cases. And I've seen Eric Kripke's response, and it's like, no, you've missed the point there. Why people are angry about it. I know people that stopped watching the adaptation after all of that because they were like, oh, okay, not watching it anymore, and that's fair enough. But yeah, elements I thought could have been done better, but what can you do? At least they gave the Huey Butcher confrontation near the end an actual confrontation rather than the way Garth Ennis did it in the comic book, which was just, I'm going to confront you, and then the next issue shows the aftermath of the fight, and you're like, oh, okay, what happened there? So that was a nice touch. Evan Moriarty's great as Starlight. There are 2 actor cameos in the series. They're absolutely hilarious because they're not exactly what you think they were at all.
I love the
Tilda
supernatural
Swinton's
reunion, man. Sorry.
Yes, the Supernatural reunion's fun. Stormfront is probably, I think, out of all the villains, though, if you're going to say Homelander's the best villain, Stormfront is definitely a close second. It's a shame she was only in really for a season, but the impact that she does have for the season that she's in,
I would agree with that.
Definitely makes ramifications for the entire rest of the show. Tilda Swinton makes a cameo in the show. I'm not going to say how, but that was hilarious when I found out she was in it. Same with Samuel L. Jackson. I thought that was I was like, is that Samuel L. Jackson doing the voice of the... Yes, it is. And if you know Samuel L. Jackson and sharks, you'll know why that is very funny.
I didn't realize
Deepest,
that,
bluest, my head is like a shark fin.
That's actually
Yes.
a really deep cut that did not occur to me. So that's fantastic.
Speaking of deep cuts, I have to talk about Diabolical for a second. That's got some good animation. There's a Baby's Day Out. If the baby in question had superpowers, if you've ever seen the movie Baby's Day Out, and it's done exactly like an old Looney Tunes cartoon, and it's wonderful. There is one with Justin Roiland in, which is very Rick and Morty-ish. So we won't go into that much detail about that one. But the best one out of all 8, aside from the one that Aisha Tyler writes, is the one written by Garth Ennis. It's episode 3. It is set in the comics continuity. You have Homelander and Queen Maeve being the same voices as the TV show. You have Jason Isaacs being Butcher. And Simon Pegg finally gets to be Huey. He does the voice of Huey in the entire thing. And it's basically them trying to work with a drug dealer played by Kieran Culkin to stop, to make it go wrong for the 7 at this event. And Michael Cera's, their version of the Flash, kind of like a version of the Flash, but with flying, if that makes sense. Breaks the speed barrier through flying and then crashes into a wall. Because you can tell it's the comics continuity, by the way, because Jack from Jupiter shows up during the big parade scene, and he isn't in the TV adaptation at all. Which is good, because the only thing Jack from Jupiter does that is worth any notes in the comics is basically killing the dog, and we didn't need him to kill the dog. I'm glad they didn't do that in the TV adaptation, to be honest.
Yeah,
because...
I like that. I like that Terror kind of just like it was old age and he was sleeping in his master's room, so it was just like as peaceful as it gets.
Aside from the 7, though, I have to say, though, the greatest thing about the adaptation for me was there was more character development with Frenchie and the female.
Yeah.
Much more character development with these two. This was probably the strongest thing of the adaptation to me.
I agree with that, too. I think they were almost, their hands were tied that they had to do some development with the female characters because it was such a masculine, heavy show. There's really only 2 or 3, crucial women on the show at any given point. So the fact that you only had 2 that basically stood the test of time throughout the entire season, you needed to have some development. And the female going from mute to speaking, while they didn't really do that in the comic books, I thought it was a smart play in the show.
Yeah.
No,
I also thought doing the gender switch with Stormfront was pretty cool, because that changes so many of the dynamic.
Changed a lot, yeah.
That'd be a different show.
But yeah,
That'd be a whole
one of my
different show.
favorite scenes actually is with Kumiko in the last season, where she explains about how it is about how she managed to get to speaking again. Then they talk about the flight that they had to take, and she makes fun of Butcher by going, "Well, yeah, all we heard on the flight from you was oi oi oi, cunt 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 all the time," and that made me laugh. I'm like, yeah, he does say that. It's like the rapping Reagan tape that Homer puts on in the car in that one episode of The Simpsons. All you gotta do is replace the whales with cunts, and you've got a Butcher tape right there. Do I think Carl Urban did a good job as Butcher, though?
I think he started out well, but he became a caricature near the end.
Yeah, exactly. And also, there was always some moments when he was doing the I'm Butcher me, where you thought, you're going to go Australian in a minute, it's going to be a weird hybrid, and it's not going to be funny.
Yeah, you could probably put together about 30 minutes of footage of just Butcher glaring throughout the entire season. Just turning and glaring at somebody over and over and over again for 10 seconds here, 5 seconds there. They really leaned on that hard throughout the entire season. So I get what you're saying there, but it's also like when they started the show, Jack Quaid was not a star. Anthony Starr was not a household name as he is now. So Carl Urban was basically the guy that they were wrapping it around, and then all of a sudden he became less important as like a star-driven person for the show, and then he became part of the entourage or like part of the cast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't Carl Urban and the cast of The Boys. Carl Urban was alongside, you know, Quaid and all these other people. You know, Esposito, Giancarlo Esposito. You know, like these are real name actors that are arguably bigger than he is, and they're like coming and going from the show, and it's like, oh yeah, and Carl Urban, not Carl Urban.
What I have noticed with Giancarlo, though, is bar his appearance in the MCU, he is definitely getting typecast as like the evil puppet master behind everything.
Fine. Like, listen, I'm glad this guy's getting work. It doesn't look like a lot of people in Hollywood are getting a whole lot of work right now. So if he's like the guy and he can do the role, like that.
Oh yeah, it's good. It's I
like them as Johnny
Breaking Bad,
Cage.
I've seen him be the puppet master.
Yeah.
Far Cry 6. He's the main villain in that, and now he's the puppet master in The Boys. That works fine. I enjoyed the Vic the Veep switch this time a lot more, because it actually bothered to give Vic the Veep an actual character, but I want my dicky sucked, like he does in the comic books every 5 minutes. It's like, oh, this person's actually got something in a story, and they're doing all this stuff, and no one realizes it until it's way too late. It's like, oh yeah. So that was nice. I will say this, the only thing, I don't know if you could, I'd say there's a couple, I think Mother's Milk got a bit repetitive by the end of it, which is a shame. It was like, okay, we get it. You're angry. You don't want to be part of it anymore. Oh, no, you're back in. No, you don't want to be part of it anymore. Oh, you're back in. And it just kept going like that throughout the last
when they killed off his the stepfather, like his wife's husband, the stepfather to his daughter, it kind of took away like a lot of his like character, like what he would be pissed off against, what he would be going against. Otherwise, he just becomes like another guy that's in the group with with the boys. He's just one of the boys without having that like extra character. And they kind of like removed his family in that in like the last season, so there was like nothing there for him, and he's like, I gotta make sure this world's safe for my family, blah blah blah.
The biggest twist obviously in the adaptation was the whole Becca's in it for, at least she survives and she has a son, and it's Homelander's son. How do we think that was overall then? Do we think that was a very smart choice for them to make in the end?
I think it was fine.
She didn't
like,
play up to anything.
It didn't change anything for me fundamentally. You know, like, I want to actually go back to the Mother's Milk thing, because we're talking about how like his character development was really one note, but the whole motivation for him was essentially one note. Like his motivation was steadfast through this entire thing. It was to protect his family and to like handle the business of the people who didn't allow him to protect his family. What I appreciated about this show is that it did not go down this route of having a prominent black character have a subplot that was completely incongruous to the general thing just to give him something to do. You know, like, he didn't have, like, a drinking problem. He didn't have, like, drug issues. He didn't have, like, an affair. He didn't... You know, there wasn't anything like that. He was just this steadfast guy that's like, this is what I'm here to do, and this is what I'm going to do, while it made for a little bit of boredom with the character. You're also sitting there and watching all these other shows. Like, why are you having this guy do all these, like... derail points before you get to the mid-season and get to the season finale, and so you give your characters something to do. And in this show, they were more true to just keeping the characters authentic rather than giving them shit to do to give them shit to do, and I appreciated that.
I will say this, though. I kind of would have appreciated the episode where Homelander decides to go back to the lab and just torture all the scientists down in the lab he grew up in. I kind of wish they'd made that a bottle. You know how shows have to have at least one bottle episode in its entire run? They should have done that with that. Instead of
I seem to remember like an episode where they were in a silo for the majority of the episode. Maybe in like the fourth season that feels like a bottle episode, but I could be having like a fantastic fever dream when I say that.
But yeah, I thought overall they did a good job of, if you're going to adapt the thing that was given as the pitch to DC as, I want to out-preach a preacher, I feel Eric, Seth, and Evan...
Wait, was it a DC book?
For the first 6 issues, yes.
Okay.
And then DC...
It was under, like, Vertigo or something?
No, Wildstorm.
Oh, and Wildstorm was owned by DC at the time.
Yes, it was.
And then DC, they're like, this isn't going to fly at DC, and then they went to... Got it.
The Tech Knight, I'm going to guess the Teenage Kick stuff and the Tech Knight stuff was the bit that made them go, no, we're not
publishing this. Yeah, I could see the Batman, the parallels there being a little hard to swallow.
I mean, I will admit this. They did a better job with the Tech Knight character in the adaptation than they did in the comic books, because the comic book, the joke was, he likes to fuck holes, and that was all it was. At least in the adaptation, you had, okay, he likes to do that, but he's also a guy that likes to pretend to solve crimes on a TV show, and has a very bad kink fetish for whatever he feels like. I also would like to give more props as well to the Ashley character, that at first could have been just a few episodes and then you never see her again, but she became one of the best, like, B-list characters of the entire thing. I mean, the fact that she rises from PR woman to vice president by the end of it, I thought was very good.
I like how quickly she was removed from office as soon as everything was done. It's like, yeah, she's not in office anymore.
Yeah, I am going to stay in office by the afternoon.
If only we had that level of accountability in the real world, you know?
I know. It's like the 25th Amendment does work when you want it to.
Sometimes.
Funny how that is.
What other notes do you have on your wrap up on this?
I want to say that I don't think we needed Vote Rising to happen. That was a thing that really pissed me off about the last season. It was like, let's make sure you know Soldier Boy is in every episode because we have a prequel to do. I'm like, no prequel. I do not need the prequel for Soldier Boy and Stormfront. I don't need it. I got everything I need in the main series.
Are they really doing a prequel?
Yep.
Oh, I had no idea.
50s. set in the 50s, Vought
Sure, that
Rising,
whatever.
and it's like, oh, good. Find out how Soldier Boy became Soldier Boy, and find out why Stormfront was Stormfront. It's like, oh, because Soldier Boy actually loved Stormfront, and da-da-da-da-da-da. It's like,
good for Jensen Ackles. Just keeping it going,
yeah,
man.
I'm happy to see him get more work. But it's like,
just staying true with Eric Kripke, man. He's got like 25 years under the belt with because of Eric Kripke. He's getting paid. Good for him. All right, I got a question for you two. When I am reviewing something, I end up having two questions. Number one, was what I watched any good? And number two, did I like it? Matt, did you like it, and was it any good?
Overall, I think The Boys was a very good adaptation of a decent comic book. And I did like it, and I'll probably end up watching it again in about 5 to 10 years. Probably with the Vought Rising stuff, because I'm a completionist bastard.
Larry, what about you?
I call parts of it good. Like, season 1 was done really, really well, and season 2 was also good. The rest of the seasons was kind of schlocky stuff that I can't say, like, oh, this was all good, like, whatever. But I can say that I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it as, like, for what it was, and, like, the entertainment value, the gore, the comedy in it, the feeling of dread this show brings whenever, like, you show the Homelander coming in, like when he's just walking into that building where they're all looking for the V, and he's just walking, and, like, you feel Frenchie just knocking on the door, and you're like, oh, it's over for him. And they don't show him kill Frenchie, but, like, it's just implied, and they show Frenchie, like, dying already. But it's just there are parts of it that
robbed him of the dignity of showing the death.
Yeah.
Well, there was one bit I mentioned on Blue Sky. There was one bit I absolutely hated because from being the UK, it really reminded me of something. The whole thing with Homelander and the breast milk stuff.
Oh.
That was the one thing I can honestly say out the entire thing. Even with all the context, that was the only thing I really didn't like. Because it just reminded me...
That was where you drew the line, huh? That was where the line in the sand was.
I'll explain why.
Have you guys ever tasted breast milk, though?
I don't remember, maybe.
No, I was a bottle baby. The thing is,
Judge,
that was the only thing that felt too cartoonish.
Judged. Yeah.
Too cartoonish for me, and it reminded me of a character in a sketch show that you might have heard of, Little Britain. And there's this character that's always like, Betty, Betty. And it doesn't matter where they are, whether it's like a posh restaurant or whatever, it's this grown man still being breastfed from his mother, and he's like in his late 30s, and it's just like, no, I don't need Homelander going, Betty, Betty. I don't need it. It's too stupid.
Man.
So, I might surprise you guys.
I do love me
this,
Elizabeth Shue, though.
She's timelessly a gorgeous woman. Timelessly a gorgeous woman.
Yeah.
I will surprise you guys with this. I thought that The Boys was a very good show that actually made the source material that it came from better than it was in the books. I thought in many instances it captured the horror of what it was trying to convey without the over-the-top brutality. There were many times that I thought they balanced it well. With that said, I did not like this show very much. I was very middle of the road, and I probably will not revisit it ever again in the future because it's just not my show. I would watch it from time to time. I would pick up and I would watch like 3 or 4 episodes, and then I would drop it for like months, maybe a year. I remember I had to watch half of season 3 and all of season 4 before season 4 finished. And I caught it the end of season 4. I was current with that, and I stayed up with most of The Boys season 5. I think I watched it in 2 halves. I think I watched the first 3 episodes, and then when we discussed watching this thing, I'm like, all right, well, I guess I gotta watch the next 5, and I managed to do it over the course of a really busy weekend. But it's just one of those, like, this wasn't my show. But I'm gonna go ahead and say, it's like, for what it was, it could have been a hell of a lot worse than what we got.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. I mean...
Comics, to me, the Source comics were really kind of... It was just like an empty calorie comic. And this kind of gave... Comic. Yeah. This kind of gave more meat to the characters. There was more character building in this. Yeah. Like Black Noir, for instance. You had 2 different versions of Black Noir, and they couldn't be more different from each other. I am
so glad, though, that they didn't... I'm so glad, though, that they didn't do the Black Noir twist in this that they did in the comic books, because that would have made no fucking sense.
Yeah. I will say, though, the Gen V show with the kids, I found that to be way more engrossing, and it sucks that was only 2 seasons. And then, like, the characters didn't even get to do anything in this last season. Where, like, in the last season of Gen V, they were, like, built up, oh, we're going to be part of the team, we're going to be blah, 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 Starlighters, and then, like, nothing. I mean, they show up in the last episode, and they kind of just, like, we're here. Oh, okay, we're going to go to Canada now. Bye, guys.
Okay, so those 2 girls were from the Gen V show. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, I bet these were from another show that I don't watch.
One of the weakest things, definitely with the show was, as Larry just mentioned, the lack of integration with Gen V. And the fact that in the last couple of seasons there, do you get what we're doing a satire of? Do you get it? Was about as subtle as a fucking sledgehammer to the ball.
Yeah. There was interesting things you can do with those characters, and unfortunately one of the actors passed away before the start of the second season.
Yes, he did.
And, you know, I'm always a mark for Save the Last Dance. So, you know, anytime I can see that actor like in anything, I'm happy for that.
I'm a mark for Daveed Diggs as well through clipping, so I was happy to see him be the father character in the last season.
Yeah, but overall, you know, I had my fun with the show. Will I watch it again? Probably. If I'm bored, maybe. But it takes a lot for me to go back and watch things. And speaking of Giancarlo Esposito, you know, big tentpole movie for Star Wars and Disney fans, Mandalorian and Grogu, or as my wife puts it, the Grogu movie. I really had fun with this
Baby Yoda movie?
Yeah. Baby Yoda and
Friends.
Friends.
I think they left money on the table not calling it the Baby Yoda movie, as The Onion correctly predicted years ago, but I had fun with it. It wasn't like the be-all, end-all of Star Wars, but it's fun to just dip your toes into a Star Wars universe, have fun for a couple hours, and if anything, that was a speed run of 1 season of The Mandalorian that you paid $20 to watch 2 hours in the theater, and some people might be angry with that. I don't care. I had a good time, and I'm not going to take it any more seriously than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, out of the 3 of us, of course, I was the one that had no prior knowledge, knew of The Mandalorian, knew bits and pieces, but
He was in the Star Wars Christmas special, man.
Now, so as someone who didn't know anything about it, how did you come into this movie, and did it give you all the information you needed immediately to just hit the ground running as someone who'd never watched an episode?
It is a good jumping on point. People have said this, and I kind of agree with them. If you want to get a good jumping on point on who this character is, what's the thing that's with him, why are they going around the world doing what they do, the fact that 2 of the main villains are the Hutts is helpful if you know your Star Wars anyway. It's useless if you don't know any Star Wars, but if you know enough Star Wars to know, oh yeah, are they related to who I think they're related to and all that stuff, then that's good. That's fine. Pedro Pascal's in it, so even if you don't really know Star Wars that well, you can go to see Pedro Pascal. You can go and hear
Briefly.
Jeremy Allen White. Yeah, you can hear Jeremy Allen White do the voice of the Hutt, so that's good.
Did he really
there
sound
is
like
a-
Jeremy Allen White to you? He didn't to me. I was like,
No,
this could have just been anybody.
They
he
did
says
like
he based it on-
modulator stuff.
Well,
It
basically,
sounded
what
like
he decided
modulated.
to take, he said
Why
he
would
took
you do that?
inspiration from Jabba's voice, essentially, from the movie.
Why would you modulate your voice and then like say that like I don't know? Just get I don't know. How much money did getting Jeremy Allen White to modulate his voice to play a Hutt really add to the growth of this movie?
I don't know,
That was
man.
much as Martin Scorsese showing up for like 10 minutes.
Man.
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
man, that was great.
That was
I
a
really
waste
like the
of
whole like
time.
Tokyo vibes, and then having Martin Scorsese playing an old, basically Japanese shopkeeper.
Scorsese in the space of a week was like, he's in this movie, okay, how long? Oh, 10 minutes, okay, whatever. And then a couple of days after I watched the movie, it was like, I'm going in with AI. I'm like, no, for fuck's sake, Martin.
So, wasn't Scorsese one of the guys that was like tearing down Marvel movies because they were ruining cinema,
Yes.
and then this guy just shows up in like a slop Star Wars movie instead as sure, whatever it is.
Yeah. What
I gotta-
many people
I gotta
might
say
not
this.
know, though. Go on.
No, go ahead.
Well, you gotta say it to say it.
With the sandwiches at Disneyland that they sell based off of the sandwich here, excellent, excellent.
Ooh.
Yeah, I really like the sandwich.
Deep cut of the
One thing I did like though, because I looked it up, they actually finally did something that will make Deep Cut fans very happy because they put Embo in a live action movie.
Where has Embo been before?
Clone Wars, apparently. Looking him up on Wikipedia.
What, on like one random episode from like season 3 or something?
No, he's been in a few.
All right. Because I was
He's been
like,
in a-
you just wanted Cad Bane, but you already killed Cad Bane, so you can't do that. Cool.
Yeah.
Good job.
But essentially, let me get the Wikipedia page up.
While you're
Let's
doing that, I'll wax poetic on the bad guys in this movie. I like how they had to make the bad guy the cousins or brother and sister of Jabba the Hutt, because you already killed the main bad guy that really this guy needs to conquer, which is his own father. And the fact that he has to do it instead to his aunt and uncle who were mean to him really kind of undercuts the development that he was supposed to have in this whole thing. I liked how they backed themselves in the corner and tried to neatly get themselves out of it. I also liked the return of the battle droids from episode 1 in terms of a rogue army working for the highest bidder. Like,
Yes.
you know, that was a nice little pivot. I feel like we're getting
Roger,
to
Roger.
the Ahsoka, Sabine, Ezra, Zeb kind of reunion between this and Ahsoka, where we get the Rebels reunion, which I've loved that show ever since I watched it on Star Wars.
It's so
Star
good.
Wars Rebels animated show. And I feel like there's some rumor out there that they're going to redo the extended edition using the plot device of like from season 3 or 4, where Ahsoka is in the time portal, and all the different like moments in time that she can jump into and out of and affect like the way things happen. I feel like they've kind of set that up. Dave Filoni's kind of set that up, and at some point that may end up being like a giant plot device, Deus Ex Machina, that they throw out there at some point. But I just like, I'm fine with this being like an Ewok adventure adjacent movie. You know, like I was fine with this not being Skywalker. The fate of the galaxy is in everyone's hands at this exact moment. You know, I'm fine with slice of life Star Wars stuff. And this universe is fun. It's supposed to be reflective of something that we all like enjoy and engage with. But there are so many people our age that have twisted and perverted what Star Wars is because they want to remember what it was like when they were a kid. But the problem is we all grow up and we are all shaped by our experiences, whereas this movie should be made for the kids of the next generation, potentially our kids or our friends' kids or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, this movie is for the families and it's for them. And anyone over the age of 25 trying to impart a decree about what this movie should be is losing sight of the fact that this movie is not.
Jeremy, are you talking Star Wars or are you talking pro wrestling?
I mean, that's universal for everything, but yeah. One size fits all, brother.
I thought this movie was fun, and that's the whole point of the movie, was to be fun.
Yeah.
Like you said, Jeremy Allen White, this character couldn't be more of a Jeremy Allen White character. You know, the broken family, the stressful thing, trying to break on his own. You know, it's pretty much
just Shameless all over again, right?
Yeah. Is it Shameless? Is it the Iron Claw? Where are we at?
Yeah.
But like, you know, the main character in this, for a lot of people, especially my wife, and I know a lot of girlies, they love them Grogu. And if you love Grogu,
and
you love
part of the
like
movie?
you love,
was just a little 20 minutes of Grogu in the middle of it.
yeah, like when he's
watching him.
Yeah, when he's watching the fight and he's eating the popcorn, and my wife just goes, "Aw," like he's made for your wife to go, "Aw," and by like the stuffed animals, by the keychains, that's what he's for. I love that quiet part where he's just taking care of his daddy in the forest, and he can't fit him in the log, and he just kind of just like resigns himself.
Yes.
The Cajun alien was pretty cool that he ran into. I'm not sure what happened to him afterwards, but he kind of just gave Grogu the medicine, and then he just
hanging out. I thought about him too. He's just hanging out.
He was, funny enough, the Wikipedia page actually explains who that is.
Is he a user?
He, and then I'll get back to the Embo bit. He is, using an antidote made by a friendly fisherman that they confirm is, Gattori.
Who?
He's identified off screen as Gattori.
Is that someone I'm supposed to know from the past?
Probably. I don't know why they wouldn't bring it up otherwise.
I mean, if it's the Wikipedia, wouldn't they actually have like previous references to what he is, or they just gave him importance by giving him a name?
Let me have a look see if he's got anything.
He's on Wikipedia. I will talk about my favorite part of the movie, right? Because we talked about the other part where it's just Grogu and the Mandalorian, like in the forest, where Grogu just like takes care of his daddy. Like before that, he goes on a mission to save his daddy with the other small aliens from the planet, and they go to rescue him in a small spaceship. And when they have the rescue mission, it's successful. He tells his daddy, "Get in the ship." And Mando was too big to be in a ship made for people who are only 2 foot tall. So I thought that was funny. He was like, "Get in, Dad."
I will say that they were very sneaky about one scene, and it was right after Mando and the Hutt. What is his name again? What's the Hutt's name again? Jeremy Allen White's character? Rada the Hutt.
Rada the Hutt.
They disable the electric wall, the fence in the battle pit, and then all the monsters get out. Okay? And these monsters,
I love that,
are literally trying to rend Rada and Din limb from limb inside the cage, right? And then they get out, and they immediately like eat somebody and kill somebody. All the bad guys, right? All the bad guys are immediately just killed. But the minute they go outside, all of those monsters are immediately defanged, and you see them like tossing people, or like people get knocked into walls, but they don't die. There's no blood. There's no real violence, and it all becomes incredibly toothless the minute they get outside of the thing. And it's so chaotic that you almost don't even notice. But they completely de-escalate the level of violence. Well, it's not the bad guys getting destroyed, but it's actually just innocent people and these monsters. It's a really interesting moment.
He also one of the monsters steals a car. It's a also what I liked about that part too is the monsters were sort of animated like the robots from RoboCop and RoboCop 2 with like weird janky movement. I thought that was a pretty cool choice for that.
There's not a single innocent death bystander the moment the monsters get outside of the illegal gambling area.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, these monsters don't like being gambled on.
Right?
Yeah, so for Embo, this is his first live action appearance. He's been in a non-canon thing. He's been in one of the Lego Star Wars Droid Tales. He gets mentioned on the Crisis on Coruscant one. He's appeared in Galactic Defense, the Clone Wars, about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 times of the Clone Wars, Dark Disciple, Bane's story, the Stories of Light and Dark. He gets mentioned in that. He gets indirectly mentioned in the hyperspace stories of the Bad Batch in the Ghost Agents arc. He gets mentioned. He appears in Graffiti and Rebels. He's in an Age of Rebellion special. He's mentioned in Empire's End, Star Wars Hunters, Flight of the Falcon, Star Wars Adventures. He's mentioned in 2 of those. He's in Galaxy of Heroes, and his first live-action appearance is Mandalorian and Grogu. So he's been in a fair bit.
Well, let me ask you this. We did not see what happened to Embo at the end of this. Presumably, he is either inside the Palace of the Hutt when it got blown to smithereens, spoiler alert, or he and his trusty companion, Wolfdog, made an escape. With all the appearances that he's had, I kind of wish they would have shown him making an escape in this movie, but they didn't. Do you think he survived?
It's possible. It's always,
he did hoof it.
Boba Fett died in Return of the Jedi, remember?
Yeah.
Did he see? Did Embo see Dig's face?
No. I think that they did show him seeing the Hutts fall in the hole and then just rushing off, but they didn't really show him getting out of the castle. So it could go either way. But I do think if you don't see the body, then you don't see the death.
There's no body. That's usually the rules. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's usually the rule. So I think he survived.
What other notes do we have about this movie? Did you guys think? You got anything?
Well, I thought it was overall. I thought it was a fun 2 hours.
Did you like it, and was it good?
I did enjoy it. I would love to watch it again with all the context added. That would definitely probably build up the enjoyment slightly more.
Mm-hmm.
But as going into it blind per se, fun 2 hours. It's a Star Wars movie. It's a Star Wars movie that is more action paced, and for those people that want just basically I'll say a popcorn flick in the Star Wars world, you've got it there with that you don't really get normally with Star Wars, I guess. It's the best way to put it.
All right. Larry,
also,
what about you?
If you love popcorn,
did you like it?
go. Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. But I like the Mandalorian itself. I like the character. I like the whole thing. I like going to Disneyland and going to Galaxy's Edge.
You're predisposed.
And if you go to Galaxy's
you were
Edge,
ready for this.
Yeah, I was ready to like this. If you go to Galaxy's Edge, you can actually eat the popcorn there, the stuff that Grogu's eating in the fight pit. So like, everything I'm saying is recommending you just go to Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland. Uh, but I liked it. I like the series. I like the show. I like this as far as like a companion piece to the television show because it felt like a nice little mini arc in the show. That's like the first half of the season, and the next half is something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had fun with it. A lot of it is just I especially love the part like you were talking about of it's just quiet. It's just Grogu in the forest, like walking along. You see like how he's sort of mastered his link to the Force and all that stuff. And it's cute. It's cute. That's what I like about this. It's cute. It's violent. It's fun. I love all the puppets in it. I did like how the movie went exactly how you think it would go. It's definitely made for my wife, as far as like the cute moments, like when Grogu tamed the dog. I really thought there was gonna be a moment. I'm not sure if you guys watch Rugrats. Like how Tommy Pickles always rides on his dog Spike. I thought that was gonna happen, but you save those scenes for the sequel. So I think Grogu's definitely gonna ride a dog in part 2 if they make a part 2. But I thought
Now,
it was
when you say Rugrats, do you mean the original Rugrats version or the reboot that apparently exists now that I didn't know existed until yesterday?
I did not know Rugrats reboot existed until right now. Yeah, like
I meant to show you guys this actually.
You got a Reptar?
I do the toy collecting from time to time, and so I did pick up this very, very tiny Grogu action figure that fits in the palm of my hand in the package. It comes with a little stick, the fish. He's got his little thing. You could buy this for $9.99, and it's smaller than a Christmas ornament. I haven't even taken it out of the box, but it's just one of those like, oh, this is adorable. And I was curious to see how big it was going to be when it actually showed up. And when it did, I was like, this is actually worth $10. That's fine.
Well, if Larry knows how to clip that picture of the figure from the video, I think we've got our picture for the podcast for this episode.
I think I might have that. I think I might have that ready to go. I do have my Grogu hats, my Grogu shirts, my Grogu sweatshirts.
Brother, Larry, if you want to make your wife a happy camper, go on to Target.com right now, buy that thing for $9 and have it mailed to your house, brother.
Hey man, she
put it under her pillow and you'll be a husband of the year.
Man, I do have a Grogu ornament, but it's packed up with all the Christmas stuff. That was the one she let me buy.
Goes in her purse. It's her good luck Grogu. I'm telling you, man, it's right there for the taking. Big winter husband style.
We're not sponsored yet, but Disney, Star Wars, Marvel, Amazon,
Target,
we're open to it.
Target, look up.
Target,
I like your stuff.
Big Target, we're open to it. If you go on to,
I'm not one of the people that steal things from Target. I spend my hard-earned money there, and I like the things that you offer as exclusives. Hi, Target, pay us.
Yeah, absolutely.
We don't have Target in the UK, so whatever the equivalent is, hello.
Yeah, and if you guys love watching all these Star Wars movies, why don't you get yourselves and you guys love pro wrestling, you guys might as well do yourselves a favor and get the Hulu, HBO Plus, and Disney Plus, HBO Max and Disney Plus bundle. That's the Hulu, HBO Max, and Disney Plus bundle. It's only $30 a month. Right now, just go to and get yourselves all that content. We're talking about the Justice League. We're talking about the X-Men, the Avengers. We're talking about...
Or you can spend $10 a month just to watch one WWE PLE a month.
Yeah,
Or
your mileage may vary.
Or in the UK, go via our version of Comcast, that is Sky Television, where you'll get HBO Max with ads for free with your package, as well as Netflix, Disney
Netflix presenting all that stuff outside of the US is just infuriating.
Yeah, Disney
I wanted
Plus.
to pay for Netflix and get all this shit, but no, I'm trying to be a good person and not do a VPN. But they make it very hard. They make it very hard.
Yeah, I mean, if you are going to use a VPN, go ahead and why don't you go ahead and give Shark VPN a look. No, it works
or
pretty
Nord,
well.
whatever. Anyone that'll
Or
pay us.
NordVPN.
bad.
Yeah.
Anybody
back
that will pay.
Sure.
But what do you
Monetize
guys
us, please.
feel? What do you guys feel about like the future of the Star Wars franchise? Things like Skeleton Crew, things like Grogu and the Mandalorian, things like Ahsoka, like where we're just and then I'm not sure if even that Taika Waititi Star Wars movie is going to happen.
I'm curious with the Starfighter thing that they're doing, and I believe there's a video. There's a new. I'm curious to see what they're doing with Starfighter, that Zero Company game that got announced that I found out about at Summer Games Fest. That apparently it's got to be set between episode 2 and 3 because General Skywalker is Anakin basically in the bit that they showed at Summer Games Fest, which we'll be talking about later, I think. And the Galactic Racer game that's coming out, which is just basically Burnout with pod racing. So if it's like that, I'm definitely in.
Hey man,
I think Star Wars,
love Star Wars
the franchise. Star Wars is a franchise. I think for the general fandom, it's probably going to get better, or probably going to get worse before it gets better. In all honesty, I think there is a lack of a cohesive vision, and there has been since Disney acquired the property, and Kathleen Kennedy did her whole thing with J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson, and then J.J. Abrams again, and everything that worked out, and it was just a mess. And now everything since then has been repairing the relationship with the fandom and the Star Wars property. And that's not a good place to be in. And I feel like they have not quite figured out what the formula is and was that made this IP so attractive to so many people. And Filoni and Favreau, they got their work cut out for them. I'm not necessarily sure that they have their finger on the pulse the way that everyone seems to think that they do moving forward. But I think it's better than what Kathleen Kennedy had planned and what she was planning. And if they have to do a hard reset for Star Wars moving forward, do the hard reset. You know what? Like, it'll be painful now, but it'll be easier in the future.
Hey, like as someone who grew up reading the comic books and reading the novels, I also did really love what Clone Wars and Rebels did with General Thrawn, and I do feel like he is someone that they'll probably lean on in future films, future television shows, future video games.
Can I nerd correct you real
as
quick?
a big bad? Yeah, go ahead.
Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Grand Admiral Thrawn. But I do think that he. But I do think like there's something there, and I do think we'll go ahead and think about that. Switching gears here, we had the Summer Games Fest and a bunch of other things, but something that really caught my eye because I'm a crazy driver. For the Xbox games, there was a new trailer for a new Crazy Taxi. I love this game in the arcades. I love Offspring. I love this for Dreamcast. So I know that Jeremy didn't see the trailer, so I got it right here.
I guess we're watching it. Let's do it.
And we're going to watch it.
Can I live comment as I'm watching this, or is that?
Yeah,
go ahead.
All right. Just wanted to make sure.
Man, this sucks. Sorry, man. My connection is ass. Do you mind doing this for me, Matt? My connection is ass.
Give me a second, and I'll get it. Hold on. I'm just gonna get.
This is why I love editing. So like I could just like take this out of
Yeah, let me get the trailer up on my thing.
I will say my thing for the video game summit this past week, and this is Monday we're recording this, and we're gonna get a Nintendo Direct tomorrow, in which I assume there will be a day one Legend of Zelda purchase for me within that reveal.
Definitely.
I'm hoping, because it's the 40th anniversary and all. But I will tell you this. I am absolutely here for the Wolverine trailer for the PlayStation 5. And when they explained that there is a feature to reduce the amount of gore and blood rather to maximize it, I felt like they understood the assignment perfectly. So I am here for Wolverine.
Yeah.
Day one purchase. I don't care if it's only a 12-hour gameplay in thing. It's like, I've waited for this game all my life, and it is here, and I know it's going to rule.
Okay then,
Jeremy,
so
did you play Did you play that Wolverine game that came out for Wolverine Origins 2? I thought that was such a
not a
great
video
game
at the time.
Wolverine's Revenge?
Wolverine's Revenge was so
I was
good,
out of games
man.
at the time.
Just the
And hard to
gore
find
and all that
games
stuff.
that are delisted.
That's true. Good old
That
Let's
is
Plays
true.
on YouTube. Anyway, Crazy Taxi.
Do it.
It's a little loud, Matt. Sorry.
That's some Uncanny Valley right there. Spring. Okay.
You know, I used to play this game at what was that place called? Not Game Informer. You ever go to the mall and they used to have that arcade there? They had it at the Ontario Mills Mall before. What was that? GameWorks, right? They used to have like the Crazy Taxi at the GameWorks. I love playing that, the skateboard game. Also loved it for Dreamcast.
Oh, Top
I'm not sure
Skate.
if this is even... Is that Sarah Bryant?
So, what are you basically like running routes in a Crazy Taxi and making sure you hit the markers in the game post to maximize points?
Yeah, it seems to be. It screams to me Need for Speed with Crazy Taxi
Sure.
a little bit. Now,
I don't gravitate towards games like that, but that did look fun.
Yeah.
True. Now,
Yeah.
let me
I
just
just
find
used to love-
which one was my. There's two things actually. Because this is basically all the PlayStation stuff that got revealed at Summer Games Fest. There was three things that really caught my eye, and the first one is this. So Yakuza.
Hey.
This is the new Yakuza game coming out. It's a prequel essentially, to the Yakuza series. Right?
So what decade does this take
The
place
reason
in,
why
man?
it's important. Well, it says it's a 50-year action adventure saga, so I think it's going to be a mixture of time. But you're Daito, so it's basically the guy that founded the Tojo, or the founders of the Tojo. Annoyingly,
I do love the Yakuza games. Yeah.
But the reason
Even though a lot of the
people are
Yakuza
talking
game
about
is
it-
like watching.
The reason people are talking about this, though,
All eyes on me.
But why?
Tupac. Somehow, Tupac is back.
You know why,
He's in the
Jeremy?
Yakuza.
It's be
I wonder how much.
It's
I
to
wonder how
appeal
much his
to-
family's estate got paid for that one.
dude.
Apparently,
That's
apparently
crazy.
There's a legal thing going on with the estate because the guy that claims to own the estate isn't a member of the family. It's some random dude.
And that's why we have him in a Yakuza game. It all
Yes.
makes sense now.
Did someone buy the rights to use his likeness? Like, are those the hologram people?
I think so.
Is this the Galactic
Oh.
Race game?
Are born and losers annihilated.
I'm one with the Force. The Force is one with me.
My sources say you've been making friends amongst our fellow League pilots.
Racers don't go head-to-head against Sebulba. Legends do.
Here he
They are
is.
not your friends.
I've seen you just outside.
If they make this essentially pod racing / wipeout / burnout, I am all in.
Oh, this is the dream shape.
I'm amused at how much this reminds me of Crazy Taxi trailer I just saw.
The study of the crashes reminds me of Burnout, though, so much. Burnout Paradise, especially.
Just the Star Wars aesthetic. I think I saw a Power Wash simulator game that's coming out in next month. That's all Star Wars.
That's crazy.
And I'm just like, you know what? You'll get me on a Power Wash simulator in which I'm washing an R2 droid. You really will. Like, I will sit there for 2 hours and I will power wash a droid.
The big things for me, there's 3 big things, and I have to do it in a particular order.
We're building?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I've seen this Resident Evil one. Yeah, this one is spooky.
Yes! We're finally getting the Code Veronica remake. It also makes it easier to do timelines for, because the remakes take over the canon, so hooray!
This was my favorite GameCube
What I
game.
love is
I had the GameCube chainsaw controller for
It makes
this.
people feel old when you say that.
I had like the... Hey man, when I was a kid, we used to do the speed runs for the PS1 first Resident Evil.
So, you're the American who called earlier.
I'm not really a fan of the first person view Resident Evil thing.
I think I'm guessing that will be just for this trailer. I think it'll be third person again. I did like the first person of Bio. And what I love is when they show, because Summer Games Fest is done in front of a live audience, you get all this, and they're like, oh, and it turns into basically a New Japan crowd. Oh, like a minute, and then you get this bit, and then when it finally shows the full name,
don't move, Claire Redfield.
and then Veronica shows up.
Hey, yo.
And you hear the cheering, and you hear one guy go, "Oh my god!"
Jump scare. Knew it.
Love that.
I knew it.
You know, I did really like...
Jump scare. Gonna be a good
I
year
like
for
the
video
Resident
games, everybody.
Yeah, I really like the Resident Evil 2 remake, so I'm sure this will be fine. Oh, yes.
Okay, so you get Street Fighter reveal, then
Tifa. Of course, this is the second.
Yep.
This is the third video game Tifa fighting
Year
game
4,
Tifa's
right?
been in.
The Year 4 reveal?
Yeah,
Yep.
World Tour is now at an end.
I believe
Never
so.
got Vago or Balrog in this run.
Well, I know Maximilian dude was like, "Where's Vega?" And then Tifa came out and he's like, "Oh God, forget Vega then."
Hey man,
And
This,
then,
if you're a
this game
fan
is
of
too popular to be wrapping up anytime soon. Like, it's like the most popular fighting game in the world. So,
And for,
Yeah, there's
and
no
the
way.
Big announcement for this is the biggest announcement for me though was not Street Fighter 6. It wasn't Veronica getting a remake.
ooh, ah.
Long ago, a shadow fell upon our planet. Guided by calamity, one man sought dominion through reunion. By his will, a star fell. A meteor.
One-winged angel, you say?
Bring ruin to all. But our planet answered. awakening mighty weapons to stand against the celestial threat. Now, hope endures in those who fight.
Long story short, the world's in trouble. It has been for a while.
So what are we waiting for? Let's give Sephiroth the beating of a lifetime.
And it looks like Vincent Valentine is going to be Dirge of Cerberus style as well.
You're mine. I'll make this quick.
It's like,
Good night.
that's a good moment.
The sky's the limit. Looks pretty good.
I can do this. I'll make you proud.
Just ain't your day. Oh my, is that a weapon I see?
Far as I can tell, these things don't distinguish between friend and foe.
Save the planet by killing her protectors.
So is this part 3 of a trilogy of games, right?
Yep, final plot.
Let us put your
And has this
faith
ever
to the
come out
test.
before, and it was like a smaller version of the game, like originally, and then it expanded all of it?
It's essentially a remake and not a. It's hard
But I mean,
to
it's a
explain how it's.
remake, but there was like
Never
one
would've
game
made it this
file
far
for the
without you
first
guys.
game, and now it's
And I won't
3
let you
different
down.
game files.
I promise.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it's a trilogy
At
now.
last,
They've done weird,
the
they've done
promise
weird
is
stuff with the
fulfilled.
stories.
The journey
They've done weird
ends
stuff with the
here.
story as well, so it isn't a remake. If you get what I mean? Remake,
So
rebirth, revelation.
wow. So it's the third part of
Yeah,
a remake.
those were my big moments from Summer Game.
Okay, were you guys big on survival horror growing up?
Not
I-
that much, but I'm.
There's something about playing like
My
Resident
jumping off-
Evil or Silent Hill, like in a dark room with your cousins, and you guys are just like hearing like the twinkly music of Resident Evil 2 as you're walking through Raccoon City, and then you just get the jump scare of the dogs or the zombies popping out. It's fun. I don't know why, but like whenever I think of like survival horror, like those games or like Dino Crisis 1, it just makes me feel like, the memory berries. But yeah, I thought I'd like end this on something else because, we were talking about our loves of stuff and our origins. And last time you heard like us talk about our origins with comic books. But, we talk about all things nerddom here. And, since we started it off with a couple, The Boys and Star Wars, I'm going to ask you guys, what's your guys' favorite Star Wars movie?
Empire Strikes Back.
Oh yeah, Empire Strikes Back.
I like Return of the
I had the
Jedi.
better ending.
Man, you guys
I
are
got a soft
Dante.
spot in my heart for Return of the Jedi because I love me some Ewoks.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Empire Strikes Back is categorically just the best Star Wars movie ever made.
I mean, it's great. You have the opening on Hoth. Yeah. Oh man. You have that great twist ending where Vader reveals. Oh, spoiler alert! Sorry, guys. Spoiler alert! Where Vader reveals he's the father of Luke Skywalker.
I gotta say,
the-
if there's somebody listening to this show that does not know what happens in Empire Strikes Back, I would be shocked.
They make
Well, let
merch
me
that
say
says
this.
"I
I
am
have
your
not
father,"
seen-
man.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
I haven't
out
seen,
there, guys.
I haven't seen episodes 7 to 9, but I know the major. Oh my god, they did this! Did they? How dare they do this? Especially with number 8, because number 8 is everyone going, "Ha! They ruined it! They ruined it!" For about a year or two.
Can I point out something that might upset you guys? The
Yes.
Empire
Go on.
Strikes Back is almost a 50-year-old movie.
I
I think at this point, whatever plot reveals potentially could be spoiled, I think it's out there.
Yeah.
I think
That's-
we're safe.
Yeah, I think it's just
how
like
many times do you go to Disneyland and you see a couple wearing a shirt that says "I love you" and the other one says "I know"? I mean,
I know.
you know, it's like.
I mean, let's put it this
Yeah.
way, with the whole Empire Strikes Back is being spoiled. I just get reminded essentially of hold on, let me get screen share back up again. I just basically get reminded of a moment in The Simpsons. It's basically this one.
Oh, right.
Wow, what an ending! Who'd have thought Darth Vader was Luke Skywalker's father?
Oh,
Thank you,
jeez.
Mr. Blow the Pick.
I am.
I have
So,
something
Matt-
else that's gonna really upset you when I say that. When I say this, Matt, how long ago was that clip made?
34 years
The
ago.
Simpsons started when I was 2. So I have grown up with it.
Yeah. 16 years after the movie comes out, I totally feel that clip. 50 years after the movie comes out.
Yeah, I guess some of like the newer listeners did know like Snape killed Dumbledore.
I think.
Snape killed Dumbledore, guys.
We can spoil Harry Potter. Who cares? We don't want to. We don't want to make any money. It's fine.
We can't enable hate here. So just spoil it.
No. Yeah. Fuck that. Yeah. Oh god, I think that when it comes to what is your favorite, it's usually a generational thing. But I do think like the original trilogy has such a quality to it, and there's a charm to it, and it's just a cohesive story that you don't have to piece together like afterwards, because it's all set in its own thing and that's all you think about. That's what makes it work as a series. Whereas the prequels and then the second sequel and then the sequels kind of lives in the shadow of what it was. That's why something like for me, I really loved Guardians of the Galaxy as a space like opera western thing, because I loved growing up things like Cowboy Bebop, things like Trigun, things like Outlaw Star, and like I love a space setting. But the moment you add Star Wars to it, it gives it a disadvantage of like, oh, but does it have to do with this? Does it have this character? What about the Force and all that stuff? And I think being in such a big franchise where there's these expectations towards it is always a disadvantage. And that's why something like The Mandalorian and Grogu and The Mandalorian as a series stands out, because it didn't need any of the Skywalkers in it. I mean, eventually it did technically have an AI Skywalker in it in the second season, but like it just lives on its own. It's its own lore, it's its own story. It lives in the world of the Mandalorians who I guess they kind of are like the Shiites of the planet of Mandalore. But the less said about that, because I don't want to comment on that part. But it's just I think that something like Star Wars has become so big as far as the lore, and we're talking not just like books, comic books, or like the television shows. I know if you watch Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels, it doesn't really follow like a straight timeline, because it goes back and forth in the storytelling. And I do think what Filoni does with the animated series and the newest one about Darth Maul, it's all been so good. I myself, I love The Bad Batch. I loved Rebels when it came out. I love Clone Wars. I watched the movie when it came out in the movie theaters, and I watched like the entire series from front to back like last year. And the world that Filoni created with Clone Wars, with Rebels, it's great. And then if you guys watch like the other extended universes like Star Wars Visions, and those are like just complete storytelling on their own, in their own like 20-minute cartoon. I think there's room for this kind of storytelling in the Star Wars universe. And like when people think about like its own like story, I think about that episode from Star Wars Vision episode 1, where they did basically a cub and wolf story, a samurai story with that. And Star Wars works for these kind of things, and Star Wars is a lot of things for different people. But yeah, like Jeremy said at the beginning of the show, it's not made for you anymore. It shouldn't be made for people that are trying to, go for the nostalgia. It should be made for these current generations of families and kids to bring more people into the universe as opposed to gatekeeping and keeping people out of the fandom, which is a real annoying part of any fandom, whether it be, Star Wars or X-Men or pro wrestling, which, we all talk about and love. But yeah, I think that you can have fun with any sort of medium and with any kind of story and with any kind of IP. It's what Elseworld stories are all about. And, as comic book nerds, we love Elseworld stories, I mean, for the most part, I do. Don't know about you guys.
I mean,
we're here for everybody.
Elseworlds works sometimes.
I'm always going to love Star Wars, but I'm also cognizant of the fact that every Star Wars movie is not made to give me 100% satisfaction anymore. Those movies were the original trilogy, and they're fucking amazing. And I have a soft spot in my heart for the prequel trilogy, even though the second one is no good whatsoever. And then your mileage is going to vary with the trilogy afterwards. There's some good stuff in there, but you can't get anyone to agree on anything on what's good and what's not. And so you just you find yourself in a situation where it's like, you don't want to talk about Star Wars because you don't want to get into a fight with somebody. You want to talk about things that you love talking about with other people. And the minute you talk about Star Wars on the internet, or you talk about it with somebody online, or in real life, you run that risk of just being disappointed in what they had to say.
I run the risk now with the next thing I'm going to say. The only, even though episode 2, as Jeremy just said, that was no good. Episode 2 is the only one I have actually seen in a theater out of all of them. So
there's a reason.
Yeah, I wanted to go and see it, so we went to see it. So it's so I'll have a soft spot for episode 2 for that, but the majority of episode 2 did suck, bar the bit with the droids and everyone fighting. That was it. And it's like, oh, okay.
I'm gonna say this. You guys should watch the Spanish version of Phantom Menace. This is recommended to me by our friend Arturo. You guys seen the commercials of Cerveza Cristal. You know that whole thing. But if you watch it, right? So I speak Spanish, and then I watched it when they would play it on Telemundo. And then the difference in the story is because they make Anakin into a little pervert, right? They make jokes about him hitting on Padme, checking out all these different alien women, and saying oh, I'm definitely gonna get some play after I win this whole race. It's hilarious what they do with Anakin's character. So yeah, if you guys really want to check out a different take on Phantom Menace, watch the Spanish version. With or without the Cerveza Cristal ads, which I think those ads are excellent. I love that.
And then watch Bread and Circus's 12-hour analysis of the Phantom Menace, where he mentions all the ships and everything in excruciating detail.
Yeah, they even have the aliens from E.T.'s planet.
I am so sorry. Matt, Larry, I'm so sorry. I have to go.
No problem.
Continue on the conversation, and I will see you guys next week as we pick up.
Yeah, thanks.
And you let me know what we're going to talk about next week, and I'll be here for it. Thank you.
That, of course.
All right, I will see you.
Live long and prosper, my friend. That, of course, was Jeremy Feinstone, our comic book guy, our fearless leader. You could catch him every week, every Thursday at 2:30 Pacific Time, 5:30 Eastern Time on the Fight Game Media YouTube channel, where him and Steve host the show Speaking of Strong Style, where this week they're going to talk about the Best of Super Junior finals. And, of course, the upcoming Dominion show. Catch him every Thursday on Speaking of Strong Style. Matt, I had fun with this show. I think that what we do here is we talk about what we like and what we don't like. And I got to say, I really do like... I love Star Wars. I love any kind of comic movie. And, I'm just going to say this, and I'm not going to trap us for what we're going to talk about next time. But, I have some recommends, as we do every week. I forgot to get that from Jeremy because he unfortunately had to leave early. But my recommend of the week is going to be Spider Noir, starring Nicolas Cage. Absolutely love this.
I'm making my way through that this week. In black and white, by the way. If you're wondering which version I'm watching, I am watching it in authentic black and white. Because
it's meant to be watched in black and white, people. That's why it's lit that way. That's why they chose the colors, and that's why the makeup's done that way. That's why Nicolas Cage's makeup makes him look like he's in Madame Butterfly. It's because he's supposed to be in black and white. My wife made me watch it in color because she said, "Why is it in black and white? Should be in color." That shows the youth of my wife. She's like, "Why are we watching it in black and white?"
My plan with Spider Noir, though, is at the same time as watching the Amazon show Spider Noir, I am also reading the Spider-Man Noir comic books. So I've read the first mini-series that they did. Watching the show, and then I'm going to read Eyes Without a Face, and then I'm going to read the last two series that they did, which is more Spider-Verse-y, I guess. But yeah, I'm looking forward to talking about that at some point.
Yeah. And if you guys are wondering, this takes place after Spider-Verse 1. Because there's a narration that I think in the first or second episode where he talks about, I had this conversation with somebody talking about different universes and what they mean. And so that means he already met Miles and Spider-Ham and Gwen and all of them.
But you don't need to have watched Spider-Verse 1 in order to watch this.
No, but I will get this because it shows it in the trailer. It is interesting how he's more of a Toby style Spider-Man with the biowebs and stuff more of anything. Because this is, of course, a Sony production. So they're going to keep with Sony rules. And
even though it's made by Lord and Miller. Even though Lord and Miller, I've got their hands all over it.
Yeah, Lord and Miller.
Speaking of Lord and Miller and Lego, I have seen bits from the new Lego Batman game that came out because someone told me Matt Berry does the voice of Bane. Matt Berry does the voice of Bane. And I'm like, oh, I have to see this.
We have Matt Berry doing Bane. Is he doing Matt Berry as Matt Berry, or is he doing Matt Berry doing Bane from The Dark Knight Returns? I don't know.
Dark Knight
I love
Rises,
that guy.
yeah. It's
Dark Knight
Matt Bane. And Matt Berry doing it, so it's great.
Oh my god!
I did start Fist of the North Star, but I'm gonna have to go back to it at some point.
You are merely in the darkness. I was raised in the darkness.
But there's the bit in the video game where he's doing that. We have to give it back to the people, and it cuts to an old woman in a cane. Not you. Cuts to a baby in a pram. Not you. Cuts to a kid with a balloon. Not you. Pops the balloon, and then goes to these construction workers and all that. Like signs and goes, yes, you. And I'm sure they did that on purpose to bring up the fact that someone put it in Trump's inauguration speech in 2017.
Yeah, I gotta say this. I absolutely
there's an Easter egg for people.
I love the Lego games, right? I love especially the Lego Batman games because there's this inherent humor to it, and there's all these references. I think that these games are made for everybody. But, I'm just going to wrap us up here. Matt, where can people catch you if they wanted to catch you?
As always, you can find me on the occasional episode of The Prescription that Larry does and his Slam Masters Entertainment System show. I'm on a fair few episodes of that. That have been released and a few that are upcoming. And I also have my own podcast, Deathmatch Royalty, where me, Larry, and special guests, including past guests Phil Schneider of Segunda Caída / The Renga / Death Valley Driver / Uncrowned on Yahoo / the Dean shows with Action Wrestling and stuff, I guess, coming up with Orange Crush. We've had Jim Fannin, legendary wrestling manager Jim Fannin, leader of the Fannin family. We have had Mr. Hartgrave from CZW on the show. We have had Corey Clark from Voices of Wrestling, aka Troubles Rest. He's been on the show a few times. Arturo has been on the show a few times, as well as many others. I know his work with Val has been stellar. He's got on the day we record this, he's got an article about Peter Fangle being a great WXW, being one of the breakout stars for that company in recent years. So go and check that out.
Brother. It's great seeing a Floribama dude become the voice of German pro wrestling. You know.
Yeah, definitely. Check out his interviews as well with Felix Kohlenberg, Jameson Shook, Jim Fannin. In fact, thanks to Corey, that's how we got the hookup for Jim, and many others. And check out his podcast From Crockett to Chaos. Also, with my stuff, I do the occasional written review, which you can find on Substack, the Harvest Podcast Network, .substack.com. However, if you want to hear these dulcet tones read the review out to you, check out the Deathmatch Royalty podcast feed via Spreaker. Just type in Deathmatch Royalty on the Spreaker page. You'll find it there. We are on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, although Spotify doesn't have all the episodes because music reasons, which is weird for Spotify. Just use the Spreaker or just go via the Substack because they're posted on both anyway. I do the occasional music mix, and they are returning after a bit of a break. I kind of fell off current music for a little bit, but as Larry knows, I've been listening to the new Boards of Canada record and the new Devin Townsend record. Both are equally wonderful. And yeah, that you could also find me on Blue Sky, Twitter, and Instagram under the name Legion AOD. That's LEGION AOD. And that is everything.
Yeah. Absolutely. And thank you, Matt, for coming on here. I mean, thank you for coming on. What am I talking about? This is the trio for the show. Thank you guys for joining us this week. We're about to exit and it's closing time. So closing time, something.
There's no way.
I know who I want to take
but
me home.
You can't stay here.
Yeah, definitely.
Although we are recording this in our houses, so it doesn't really matter.
I do think that one of these days we definitely have to do one of these nerd talking, and we definitely have to talk about hi-fi versus lo-fi. We definitely have to do that one time. You could be the Jack Black in that episode.
We'll do a music episode of nerd talking at some point.
I gotta say a shout out to my niece who's absolutely in love with Jack Black right now. We were babysitting over the weekend, and like she was like, Uncle, Jack Black. And you know what movie she loves to watch? Encarnacion. She loves Nacho Libre.
I was going to say, is it Nacho Libre?
It's Nacho Libre. And that's not because, I have her, she saw my lucha mask and she's like, Uncle, Nacho Libre. She's like, I was like, yeah. And so we decided to watch the movie, and she wore the lucha mask, and she was by the way, the lucha mask was my Ultimo Dragon mask. So,
nice.
Keeping the dragon system alive. It's my niece and Kazuchika Okada. So
every time she enters a room, Separado's plays.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm gonna say, thank you guys for coming here. And I'm gonna say this because, like I said to the fearless comic book guy Jeremy Feinstone, live long and prosper. May the force be with you. But we'll be here, same nerd time, same nerd channel, and as always, see you next time.